And through that area, who was located there?
Mollie Tibbetts' body.
Okay. Did you ever go out to the location of the body?
Yes.
Okay. And were other officers present at this location?
Yes, there were.
Okay.
July 18th, 2018. 20-year-old Mollie Tibbetts, a University of Iowa student, was house-sitting for her boyfriend Dalton Jack in Brooklyn, Iowa. That evening around 7:30 p.m., she went out for a jog, which was routine for Tibbetts. She had communicated with her boyfriend Dalton that she would be out for a jog and also texted her mother she might stop by later for dinner. There was no further communication from Mollie. The next morning on July 19th, Mollie did not show up to her job at Grinnell Daycare. It was then that a co-worker notified friends and family regarding her absence. Texts and calls from family went unanswered by Tibbetts. Shortly after, family reported Mollie missing at the Poweshiek County Sheriff's Office. The same day as she was reported missing, police launched a search for Mollie. They searched the surrounding area of Brooklyn, Iowa. Family and local volunteers would also join the search. They searched her known jogging routes, wooded areas, and abandoned properties, but search efforts did not turn up anything significant. July 24, 2018. Investigators announced the possibility that Mollie may have been abducted. They also announced that the FBI would be joining the search for Mollie. With the help of the FBI, they would have additional resources to start combing through Mollie's digital footprint quicker. July 27, 2018. DCI Division of Criminal Investigations announces they have searched several locations with no success. They also state they have started to comb through Mollie's digital footprint. They report that Mollie had a Fitbit and her phone with her when she went missing. With this information, they would be able to retrace her jogging route from the day she went missing. July 31, 2018. Investigators hold yet another press conference but do not share much, only that they have received and followed up on over 200 tips and continue their search for Mollie.
Since July 19th, law enforcement and volunteers have searched tirelessly for Mollie. On any given day, upwards of 30 to 40 investigators are working on this case. Thus far, in excess of 200 leads have been followed up on. Searches have included ground air and the utilization of canines.
They are following up on leads and reviewing footage that was obtained around the area where Mollie was last known to be jogging. August 2nd, 2018. Mollie's family still has no answers. They speak to the public. They state they believe Mollie is being held captive.
We believe that Mollie is still alive, and if someone has abducted her, we are pleading with you to please release her.
August 15th, 2018. Vice President of the United States Mike Pence meets with Tibbetts' family. He would go on to tell Mollie's family that you are on the hearts of every American.
But I just want Mollie's family to know you're on the hearts of every American.
This would officially put the case into the national spotlight, adding even more pressure on local and federal investigators. August 21st, 2018. Authorities announced they have found a body in a cornfield in rural Poweshiek County. They believe it is the body of missing Mollie Tibbetts. Later that day, 24-year-old Christian Bahena Rivera is identified and charged with the first-degree murder of Mollie Tibbetts. Investigators state that on August 20th, they began interviewing Rivera. During this interview, he confessed to killing Tibbetts and led them to her body. But first, let's backtrack. July 23rd, 2018. Investigators had been canvassing the area where Mollie Tibbetts was last known to be jogging. The police knew where to look due to her Fitbit activity. They began reviewing footage around that area, and they discovered this video. In the video, police were able to identify a suspicious car in the area where Mollie had been jogging. The car was identified as a black Chevy Malibu. The car was seen circling around, and investigators deemed that suspicious enough behavior to focus in on that car. The car was later traced to Rivera, and he was brought in for questioning. During his interview, which lasted around 11 hours, Rivera was interviewed in Spanish by police officer Pamela Romero, whose testimony you heard at the beginning of this video. As the interview progressed, he admitted to seeing Tibbetts and following her in his car. He goes on to state he got out of his car to run next to her. It was at this point Mollie threatened to call 911 and they began to argue. Rivera then states he blacked out, and when he came to, he noticed Mollie's earbuds in his lap and realized her body was in the trunk. August 22, 2018. Christian Bahena Rivera makes his first court appearance. He is charged with first-degree murder and his bail is set at $5 million. August 23, 2018. DCI investigators release autopsy details that show Mollie's cause of death was due to multiple sharp force injuries consistent with stabbing. September 18, 2018. Christian Bahena Rivera pleads not guilty in a Poweshiek County courthouse. Rivera's trial would continue to be pushed back due to requests from his defense lawyers regarding the need to review key evidence. The key evidence being blood DNA belonging to Mollie being found in Rivera's trunk, his confession and video of him driving around the area where Mollie went missing. Rivera's trial was then again pushed back again in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. May 17, 2021, the trial starts and jury selection begins. The defense presents their case and gives another account of what they say happened. They go on to state that Rivera was abducted by two unidentified masked men who forced him to participate in this crime. They state that the men made Rivera kidnap Tibbetts. They then killed her and then forced him to drive where her body was found to bury her. He says they threatened his family. Despite his defense, 24-year-old Christian Bahena Rivera was found guilty on May 28, 2021. It took the jury 7.5 hours to deliberate and reach their verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Christian Bahena Rivera, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
On August 30, 2021, Rivera was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It is the order and judgment of this court, acting pursuant to the provisions of Section 902 of the Code of Iowa, that the defendant be and is hereby committed to the custody of Iowa Department of Corrections for a lifetime sentence with no eligibility for parole.
Rivera appealed his first-degree murder conviction, stating that evidence should have been suppressed during trial, specifically comments he made to detectives during questioning. But on October 11, 2023, the Iowa Court of Appeals upheld his conviction.